All right, so let's unpack this a little bit. So this patch I'm calling Atmospheres 2. So Atmospheres 2 is, as you can hear, a sound-on-sound loop. So aside from the loop here, you're hearing, well, let's turn some other stuff off. Okay, so now you're just hearing the Zoia. So what we've got here, I'll try and walk through this. It's a sound-on-sound loop. You've got inputs, outputs, just stereo in and out, because I'm going through the effects loop in the HX effects, and I have the effects loop. You can move it anywhere you want in the signal chain in the HX effects. You can also set the inputs, outputs of the send and returns, as well as the inputs, outputs of the pedal to line or instrument level to really stage the signal as it goes. You can really get a really great sound out of the HX effects. So the HX effects, as far as the pedal board goes, is kind of the central point for all the wet effects here. So it's coming out of the effects center, the HX effects, into the Zoia, Volante, Night Sky, back into the HX effects. And the only one I'm adding in, and I'm going to turn it back on right now, is the retro reel, which is kind of the HX effects lo-fi. So here we go. Very subtle, not ridiculous. I really love it. The effects in the HX effects are amazing. They're great. But back to the Zoia. So Atmospheres 2, stereo in, stereo out. This is a VCA to the input to everything you're about to see. So right now I have it disengaged, which means I can play over it. Without adding more stuff to the sound-on-sound loop, okay? This is the erase function. So if I turn this off, it'll break those sound-on-sound loops, and as a result, everything will end. So that I'm keeping engaged for now. All right, next page. This is the VCA page, and I have to get in and label all this stuff. So this is the VCA for the inputs, and then there's two stereo VCAs. These are stereo VCAs. So one of them is going to go to the 8-second delay lines. The other one's going to go to the 16-second delay lines. There's 4 delay lines going, 2 per side, left and right. So it's kind of a true stereo signal path. So, but the second 2 here is so 8-second delay line, 16-second delay line. That's the erase function right there. And again, I'm not going to erase it right now. Okay, page 3. Page 3 is the 2 delays I'm going through. So they're both modulated delays, the Bucket Brigade flavor. I find that as I'm using them as everything in one. So they're coloring the sound. It's slightly degrading every time. I've used the tape and the old tape delays in here, and they degrade too fast. So these degrade in a much slower, much more agreeable manner. These are stereo delays. Again, this one is the top one's serving the 8-second delay lines. The bottom one is serving the 16-second delay lines. Again, right and left respectively. I'm just doing minimum delay time, 62.8 milliseconds. I've changed the delay time between the two just a tiny bit, so they end up drifting a little bit. If you have a Soma Cosmos or you're interested in the Soma Cosmos, that's a little bit of what that does. Now, I could also add LFOs to this to just slightly modulate the differences in those delay times and create a drift function, but not in this version. No feedback, because again, I'm just using these to color the sound coming out of the delay lines. The delay lines are completely sterile. So these 2 delays are what I'm using to color the sound-on-sound loops. Modulation rate very slow. Again, I've just made it slightly different on each one. So over time, they're going to drift away from each other. Maximum modulation depth, and then obviously 100% mix. Okay, next page. So these are all the delay lines. So 8-second left, 8-second right, 16-second left, 16-second right. And again, those are going to be in feedback loops. So they're coming out of the delay and then back into the delay via the VCA. Again, the VCA, I can turn that off and interrupt that endless loop. Notice that it's been running for a while and it is not turning into a nasty feedback loop. It's very stable. Another reason I like using those Bucket Brigade delay types in the Zoia. Okay, next page. We have, this is where it gets a little more involved. So there's two loopers here, 32-second long loopers, that both serve the 8-second delay lines, okay? They've got randomly modulated LFOs controlling the record function and the start position. I've also got two-step sequencers in here. So the output of that is going to push the sequencer, which is attached to the speed. So it's going to go between an octave down and a fifth down based on the output of the LFO. So every time this is the left 8-second looper, every time that thing changes, it's going to change it to either a octave down or a fifth down. It's going to change the start position, and obviously it's going to hit the record button. So right now the loop is almost 18 seconds long and it's running at a fifth down. And the random LFO will determine what the output of that particular, which is the left 8-second delay line. So you got 1, 2, so that's left and right on the 8-second. As you can see, this one's playing back on the left. And then this one is in the record mode. This one is currently playing at a fifth down. As well as this one is going to be, once it's done recording, looks like this one's going to be an 11-second long loop once it starts playing. And then, of course, go over to the 16-second delay lines. They do the same thing. So they're flipping between recording and playing back at either a fifth down or an octave down. And as you can, and the output of these does not go back into the sound on sound loop. These are just the straight output, and they'll play back directly to the output of the pedal. So there you go. There's atmospheres too. So let's add in. So one thing I've started to add in. So the shuffling looper in the HX effects is directly after the effects and the return. So the output of all of this is going to feed the shuffling looper. So I'll hit that in. I'm going to add in the volante. The volante I actually currently have on the tape echo at half speed. And I have the spacing of the head somewhere between the golden ratio and the silver ratio. Okay, now the shuffling looper is completed. We're going to add in the night sky. Now the night sky I have on the dense texture, I'm quantizing it smoothly. I have a triangle waveform sending the modulation to the reverb tail. I'm rolling off some of the high end, and I've got a second interval on the shimmer set to regen. Again, just creating a whole bunch of textures. And then right now, you're just hearing the sunset. I got both sides turned on. So I'm going to mute my mic and do a little more jam and then get the hell out of here. So that's my Atmospheres 2 patch as it stands today. This is why I tend to stay away from these really long loops and delay lines because it takes an extra minute and a half just to end the stupid thing.